I treat Trump supporting family members with the same love and respect that I treat the family members that have passed away, because both of y'all are dead, okay? Si tu realidad es tan diferente a la mía, if your reality is so vastly different from mine, you're in a different dimension. Tú has pasado a la dimensión que viene después de la mía. We're not on the same playing field no more. When the president is always tweeting out fucking two lies and a maybe, and you still think that motherfucker's playing two truths and a lie, ¿qué vale la pena hablar? The only multiverse I like is the Spider-Man one. And I'm not Peter Parker. I could be Miles Morales, Lisa Colonsaya. I saw that we follow each other. Hit me up if anything. But there is no necessity for me to always talk to a person that we're always going to end up in an argument. Come to find out, Latinos for Trump actually meant Latinos for war. Yep, it's happening. It meant Latinos en contra otros Latinos, aka get all the Latinos out of here. It meant I'm Latino, but I don't know my history or Trump's history, so I'm going to vote against my own best interests, okay? And yes, I do have family members that have repented. I have a tío mío, an uncle. He said, I regret my vote. He posted it on Facebook, which is a big deal for a Trump supporter to go on Facebook, because that is their, that's their main social. For him to say, I repent my vote, I'm like, okay, that's fine. But I don't have to. I'm not Jesus Christ. You can't come back from the dead. Once I dead you in my mind, you're dead. Se acabó lo que se daba. You're not coming back. I'm not going to resurrect him. No, you're gone. You're untrustworthy now. It's like when someone sends you a TikTok or a reel and it's very clearly AI to you, but to them it's like, oh my God, can you believe this is happening? No, I can't, because it's not real. What is real, that more black people and more Latinos died in Vietnam than they should have, because they put them on the front line, because that's how they treat us when wartime comes. That's a reality. That's what's going to happen. So fuck y'all. There is no rom-com that reflects the Latino dating scene. That's why I never liked them. My grandparents never dated. Eran vecinos. They were neighbors. They grew up together. The moment that they both saw that they were growing hair in weird places, they put those hairs together and then they got married. Bada bing, bada boom. My parents, okay? My mother gave my dad a lift because he was too drunk to drive. Next day, they were just together. That's how it worked. Me, I met my wife one day. Both of us had boyfriend and girlfriend. We split up from then we ended up together. No dating necessary. It's just like, I see you and we know. Latinos know. We feel it aquí dentro, puñeta. It's like, okay, that's the one. That's it. There is no other questions need to be asked. Hey, look, we feel it. You feel. We look at each other. It's like, do you feel what I'm feeling? Yes. Do you need me to take you to Morton's to have $100 steak dinner? No, I just need you inside. That's how it works. Así es que nosotros funcionamos. We're very clear cut, easy, sencillo. Now in the rom-coms, these motherfuckers go on 10 dates and they still are unsure if they like the person. Bitch, what? You can't see them, you can't tell, you can't feel their spirit. Porque Latino, I don't believe in none of this spiritual bullshit, but I do believe in the vibe. If I feel the vibe, that the vibe is connecting, I will talk to a person for the rest of my life if they have the right vibe. I've only met one though. Tú me entiendes? This is how we are, and I find it so surprising that people are so willing to spend time, not money, but time on people that they're unsure of. Cuando tú estás inseguro, if you're unsure that you like a person, don't spend time with them. If you miss them, then decide to spend time with them. But if while you're spending time with the person, you're unsure if you like them, that means that you don't like them. Tú mismo te estás contestando la pregunta, cabrón. It's interesting because I am around a lot of younger people at work, and they're always talking about what they're doing, outside of work, and the people that they're dating and the people that they're seeing, and I don't understand it. They jump from person to person without feeling the person. Does that make sense? To me, I like when I feel people. I will ask you questions that make you feel uncomfortable because I want to feel you. I want to feel your uncomfortability or your comfort level with me. The comfort that you have with yourself in answering difficult questions. For instance, do you love your father? And people, oh, yes, sure. I don't trust that. You got to give me some backstory. Automatically, I got to know something. You got to come up with the worst story ever about your dad. But he did this thing. That's how you get to know people. I don't trust you if you don't want me to get to know you. If every single response to anything I ask is a one sentence, like, no vale la pena. We're never going to get along. And I think that this is important. People don't know how to talk to each other anymore. People ask questions to ChatGPT. I've seen people talking to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT gives you like paragraphs of answers. That's what people like. That's why people are going to ChatGPT instead of to other people, because people give you one word answers: yes, no, maybe, I don't know, I don't give a fuck, I don't want to talk. It's like, no, you need to open up. That's why people are loving the AI, because the AI isn't afraid to tell you the truth, but it's their truth. ¿Tú me entiendes? It's not really a truth. That's how humans should be. That's how humans used to talk. I loved old movies, not old movies. Don't get it twisted. 70s movies. 70s movies, they had this thing where two characters would be talking in a conversation. Think Quentin Tarantino, although he's questionable as well. But think those type of movies where you're having conversation and there's a back and forth and there's an actual thought process that you can see happening, and you can see one person switching their mentality based on the new information that they're receiving from the other character. That's how life should be. That's how it used to be. That's how humans used to interact. Pero hoy en día todo el mundo tiene miedo de conocerse el uno al otro. People are afraid to tell their truth. People are afraid to actually be upfront about who they don't like or what they do like. I am not bashful with telling people that I don't like them. But that can change. I am willing to change my mind. If I tell you that I don't like you and you start to make an effort, I might like you afterwards. It's possible. I'm not dead set on any decision that I make today because it could always change tomorrow based on new information. I don't think that makes me smart. It just makes me open. It just makes me open to new information. And people aren't open to giving information nowadays. Es bien rara la situación. And you could see it play out on the fucking war that's happening right now. Imagine if it was you. Imagine if you had all of the power of the country, aka you're the president, ¿verdad? Because let's be honest, it's the same as, being a king. People say no King's Day. That motherfucker's the king. And if he hasn't done anything to you, it's because he probably doesn't care about you. He doesn't know you well enough to care about you, to want to harm you. But if he knew you and he wanted to harm you, he probably did. Imagine you having to have a conversation about nuclear war. You having a conversation with a person from another culture that feels like they need to protect themselves. How would you handle that situation without getting to know the person? ¿Cómo nosotros podemos hablar del futuro de un país? How can we talk about the future of a country if we don't know each other? You think Trump has gotten to know any Iranian for real? That he respects any of their culture? And granted, do you respect anyone else's culture? Are you willing to open up yourself, to open up why you wouldn't want a woman wearing black from head to toe? Because that's an uncomfortable conversation, but it's an uncomfortable conversation that I have had with Muslim people. I'm not afraid to have it. I disagree. I wholeheartedly disagree. And they could tell me their reason. I could be like, okay, I'm not going to change my mind based on your opinion. Based on the information that you gave me, it's not good enough. It's not good enough for me to see your side and agree with it. And in some things, I don't think it'll ever be good enough. But I'm willing to have the conversation. People that aren't willing to open up and have the conversation are always going to run to AI, and the world will become a worse place because we have lost the ability to talk to each other. It used to be in the Bible that there's this story about the Tower of Babel, La Torre de Babel, ¿verdad? And there's a great movie called Babel, directed by Alejandro Iñárritu, starring Brad Pitt. If you love white people and that's what floats your boat, Brad Pitt, this Australian woman, I forget her name. The point is, Kate Blanchett. The point is, the inability to communicate leads chaos to become bigger. We should be able to use our tools to communicate better, but we're not. All we're doing is creating a bigger divide between the people. And I know that this episode of Why Because Porque hasn't been too funny, pero la realidad es que I don't feel too funny right now. I feel like what's happening is scary to a degree. I'm not afraid. I am afraid. You got to be comfortable with saying it. I do feel that we need help. And the help that we need is each other, is within each other, is communicating, is talking to each other, and finding out what the fuck it is that other countries want. What the fuck do you want? What do you want? Can we give it to you? Can we? I don't understand. I simply do not understand. Being a human being, I don't understand most other human beings. I don't understand the lust for greed, the lust for things. And what fucking things do you want? What do you want? What is it that other countries want? What is it that people in other countries want? Is it to be left alone? Leave them the fuck alone. Do they want Ford F-150s? Sell them Ford F-150. You get what I'm saying? Like, it shouldn't be so fucking complicated. There's like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. If you do, sound out. When a friend marries an ugly person, the best thing that you could do is stop being friends with them because they're untrustworthy, okay? People are demonstrating who they are by their actions, not by their words. And I don't mean physically ugly. I mean ugly on the inside, especially when it's a double ugly person. Because you could be nice on the outside and ugly on the inside, and there's a kind of contrast. I'm looking at you and I'm not paying attention to what you say, so it balances out. You could be ugly on the outside and then pretty on the inside, and when you're talking I'm listening to your words and I pretend that it's coming from a different face, and there's a beautiful contrast there. But when it's a double ugly person and your friend can't see both of those uglies together, it's like, I can't trust you. You're not seeing what I'm seeing. You're not hearing what I'm hearing. You're not the type of person that I want to have relations. Like, there should be no talking to those type of people. Porque imagínate, si they can't see the world for what it is. Es difícil, pero it's the best thing that I could do. I always find it shocking when people tell me, "Oh my God, I can't believe your wife is so beautiful." Why would I marry an ugly person? Why would anyone do that? Oh, y para los gustos los colores. People say that, beauty is subjective. Yeah, kinda, but not really. You me entiende? Beauty is subjective up to a certain point. Maybe you like, like a smaller nose or a bigger nose or bigger lips. Yeah, but we can kind of tell. Maybe you like a person that talks about certain topics. Yeah, but it's how you talk about those topics. It's the love or the hate that you have inside, the love or the hate that you have in the voice. I can say a joke to a person that is a very negative thing about that same person, and since I'm saying it with the sincerity, with the love inside of I don't want to hurt you, but you should know this, it comes across a different way. So I'm not ugly on the inside or the outside. Yeah, bitch, I know I'm good looking. I know I'm a good person, but that's the energy that I carry around. ¿Tú me entiendes? People that don't see that are untrustworthy. You should stop talking to them. This guy, I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad that I stopped talking to him, because at the end of the day, what good is gonna come of it? I saw 28 years later, and it feels like it's 28 years too late for this dumbass movie to come out, because the decisions that the characters make are 90s decisions. In the 90s, a kid that isn't a trained killer, he literally went out into the wilds in the zombie fields with his dad and almost died. And then the next day, he takes out his psychotic mother, his mother that can't technically defend herself. She can't think straight. And then he decides, oh yes, I'm going to take my mother, because there's apparently a doctor that keeps on burning bodies. After he finds out that there's a doctor that's burning bodies, he's like, yeah, I'm going to take my crazy ass mother and walk through the zombie fields, and we're going to reach the doctor. And they do. If at the very least they would have died on the way, I would have had more respect for the movie. But no, that's not what happens on the way. On the way, they see giant zombies. They call them alphas, and they have big dicks, all right? How do you know it's an alpha? If his dick is bigger than 12 inches, that's an alpha zombie. Yup, that's all you got to do. And they're swinging around. The whole movie has more dicks than asses, okay? It's too many dicks in this movie. I know, it's equality. For years, we only saw tits. Now all we see is dicks. There's no boobs anymore in movies. There's no vajayjays. All there is in movies nowadays is dicks. I don't know what's going on with our society. Danny Boyle, what happened to this movie? Where did all the money go? Where did the ideas go? Where did the creativity go? Because yes, there is some moments that, oh, super interesting. Aaron Taylor Johnson, kick-ass. What's up with your voice, bro? Change your voice. I don't know. Take some testosterone. Do something. You look like you're taking something to build up your body. Inject your voice. I don't like how this man sounds. And the beginning, I couldn't understand a fucking word he was saying, by the way. I didn't like 20. My wife loved it, which is the contrast. It's like, oh my God. I almost broke up with my wife because she liked this movie and I didn't. I was like, did we see the same movie? What happened? What is going on? And at some point, I'm spoiling the shit out of this movie because it doesn't deserve your money, all right? That's why I'm doing it. I strongly believe that this movie does not deserve your money. When there's zombies having fucking babies and the babies are all right, no respect. No respect whatsoever. If you saw Dawn of the Dead, directed by Zack Snyder, a zombie woman has a baby there and it's a zombie fucking baby and it is cool, all right? And it's fucking cool when you have to shoot the baby and it's fucking that is amazing. That is the best zombie movie ever, just because of how it plays with the genre. This shit, Ralph Fiennes, to go from Conclave to go from Conclave to this, bro. Last time I saw him wasn't. If he had another movie in between, I'm sorry I didn't see it. But to go from Conclave, where I was like, dude, I respect this motherfucker, this character, like the way he built his story, to go to this is goofy as fuck. This dude. Come to find out that the mother that's going crazy, she's not actually going crazy. She has cancer. She has tumors in her brain. She has tumors all over. She has lumps on her breast. She has everywhere. All right. And I'm like, okay, that's sad. At the same time, what is going on? What type of doctor were you? What type of doctor was this man before the thing started? And he's just been burning bodies and building little fucking statues, columns with and memento mori, remember the dead, or remember that death is coming. And it's like, everything separate in this movie is cool. When you take out every single element out of this movie, it is cool. When you put it all together, it is goofy. Not to mention the fact that by the end of the movie, at the very end, we go back to the beginning. They introduce a character at the beginning from when the outbreak. You know how all the 28 movies start where the outbreak happens, and then it's like the future. In this movie, at the beginning, there's a kid and his dad was a pastor or a priest or something. And then at the end, he comes back and he has superpowers. He has a gang of hoodlums. Like a gang they're wearing tracksuits and they're just like fucking slicing people's head. I'm not kidding, by the way. Someone called them ninjas. I wouldn't call them ninjas. It feels like a Guy Ritchie movie. All right. This movie starts out 28 days later. Then it goes to, mockery territory or stupid territory, like one of those not another zombie movies. And then it goes to Guy Ritchie action for the last 5 minutes. I don't know if there was an end credit scene because I wanted to leave. All right. I hated this movie with a passion. It ruined the whole series for me. A series that took the outbreak so seriously. It came from monkeys. And oh my God, it's like the rabies virus. It's not actual zombies. It's just that their minds goes fucking crazy. That's why they got the red eyes. It's so interesting. And that is gone. It is totally fucking gone. Do not watch 28 years later. Go watch 28 days later or 28 weeks, not the years. Women are better gaslighters than men, and my irrefutable fact that proves that this is real is that marriage still exists, and you were convinced by your wife to marry her. It wasn't your idea, okay? Because back in the day, when they said it used to take a village, it was because the whole village was fucking each other and people were happier, okay? But nowadays, the woman sits you down and is like, no, we should get married because then you can have this for the rest of your life. Really? For the rest of my life? Yeah. If I'm not hungry, if I don't have a headache, if we didn't do too many activities that day, or if I'm on my period. There's so many reasons why you won't be able to have this every single day, but I promise you one day coming up after you wanted it, you'll have it. And I might probably want to give it to you when you don't want it. It's like, what a second? Yeah. Don't worry about it because I'm going to give it to you when you don't want it so that you'll use a pill and then you'll get up even when you don't want to, and then I'll be happy and you'll be fucked because your heart condition is going to drive you fucking crazy and you're going to die early. And that's okay too, because by the end of your life, I just want to be by myself, because that's what happens to women once they hit 60. They don't give a fuck about you. I'm just saying, marriage, huh? Qué bonita, qué cosa tan bonita, because it is beautiful. If you look at it through a woman's eyes, if you look at it through a man's, it's a problem. ¿Tú me entiendes? Es un problema. I gotta take my glasses off sometimes in order to. Sometimes you have to take off your glasses so that you can see the beauty in life. Because if you focus in, you'll see that the devil is actually in the details. It's in the details. I was watching with my wife this episode of Boondocks where the woman, the lawyer guy, and he is protecting a Chris Brown type. And the woman actually likes that Chris Brown hits women and breaks the law. And it's like, oh, so you want me to hit you and break the law? Yeah, you should hit me. It's like, no, you don't. That's the problem. Oh, you marry a woman so that you can guarantee that you're going to be with women. Have multiple personalities. So I understand why the Mormons would marry 4 and 5 of them. It's the same fucking shit. Unless you're going to be one personality for the rest of your life, a man should be allowed to marry 5 or 6. And no, women don't want to marry multiple men. You know why? Because they can't even stand themselves at least once a month. Las mujeres son locas is what I'm saying. If there's a problem with society, it stems from them. Women are the most beautiful thing in the world. world. Oh my God, love them. Like their minds, how they work, they're stronger than us. But at the same time, you have the ability to control society. Whenever anyone tells me that a man is fucked up, is bad, is a bad dude, look at his mother. It starts at the mother. Whatever the mother taught him, that's how he's going to be. Either he was spoiled, he was mistreated, something, but it always leads back to the mother. Freud, he was sucking on his mom's titties until he was 15. That's a problem. Whose fault is it? It's the mother. Me. My mother's crazy. Hey, there you go, me. You get what I'm saying? It always leads back to the mothers. And no, this is not a general criticism on women. It is, though. You understand? You understand how I'm saying what I'm saying as a joke, and at the same time, there's a slight bit of reality donde hay un problema grave, donde las mujeres no están, women aren't taking the responsibility of society. Because there's men in charge. Don't get me, the president, there's never been a woman president. There's been women prime ministers and presidents in other countries, but not in this country. That's a problem because the women in this country still don't want to get up and do what they need to do. And I understand the whole women's rights movement. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that women should want to work. I'm not saying that everything should be split 50-50. I'm not saying that what a man can do, a woman can do, because it's not true. A man can't do what a woman can do. We can't give birth. No matter what you think a woman is, that's a woman. The one that gives birth, that's an actual. You understand what I'm saying? I'm being like, 2020 vision, looking at it for what everything fucking is. Y la realidad es that racism, one thing racism always comes from the mother. I believe this. I believe this to be true. If a woman agrees to be with a man that's what is she going to create? What is she allowing herself to be, injected with? Empieza todo por la mujer. I've said this before, but my wife is such a good gaslighter that she gaslit herself into thinking that it was my idea for us to get married. She said this over a dinner. We had a big argument for about 30 seconds because, as Latinos, we don't argue in front of people. And then, I just let her win. I just said, yeah, it was my idea. It was never my fucking idea. It was always her idea. It's always the woman's idea. It is always the woman that plants the seed. Women are inception, okay? Women will plant a seed in your mind, and that seed will grow slowly, and it will determine your limitations or the ideas, your ambitions. When a woman doesn't push you, doesn't plant that seed, you kind of stay small. You stay in the same position for fucking ever. That happens, and yes, I do think that it takes the woman to kind of yes, sometimes, a guy will be super ambitious, but most of the time when that happens, the woman gets left behind because she didn't have the same mindset, and it has to come from the woman is the rock, the man is just the hand that throws that rock. That sounded terrible, but you understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying throw a rock at a woman or you throw women around. Maybe you throw around the bed. Lo que quiero decirles es que las mujeres valen mucho, tienen mucho valor. Women are worth a lot in a man's life. And it doesn't matter if you're gay, by the way, because don't matter. You came from a woman. You okay? You understand? And that woman has to kind of be the guide of your life. I don't know how else to explain it, but yeah, la mujer es tan cabrona. It's very hard for me to lose weight, especially in the chicho area, okay? Los chichos no se me van. I'm talking about the love. I know it don't look like it, but the love handles, they're still there. If you know, you know. And I've done everything. I've done dieting. I've done exercise. I've done intermittent fasting. I've done them all, never at the same time, never on a good schedule. So I'm looking to cheat. Voy a inyectarme, okay? I'm looking at injections. Porque en los Estados Unidos, there's an injection for everything. And I'm looking at the Ozempis. I'm seeing the results that they had. And if you ask yourself, why haven't you been able to do exercise and diet all at the same time? Because I'm a creative person. You show me a creative person that's jacked out of their mind, and I'll show you a guy that's about to be Me Too'd in 6 months. So I'm seeing the results of the Ozempis a lot, and now I'm at the stage where I'm talking about it with family. You know how when you get this idea, you're about to try new drugs, so you start asking, oh, have you done it? Have you done it over here? And I talked to my tia, and my tia has never had money, but she was big and she got small, and then she got big again and got small. I'm like, tia, how did you do that? She's like, It's easy. Breaking Bad. And I'm like, what do you mean Breaking Bad? What did Walter White do? Y yo, oh shit, so that was your dieting method? Yeah, yep. Whenever I wanted to lose a cool 50 to 100 pounds, I would take a month and a half y me metía tecata. Tú viste un tecato gordo, ¿verdad que no? Yo me metía tecata, but I did it controlled. I did it every day. I did micro dosing Breaking Bad. And I'm like, with micro dosing Breaking Bad, you got skinny? She's like, 100%. I'm like, well, I haven't been looking into that, but I've been looking into the Ozempic. She's like, what is that? It's like to lose weight. She's like, that's just the brand new Breaking Bad. Okay? Todo la misma mierda. All of them are methed out. They just want to get you hooked on it. And if you microdose it, you could do it right. I'm not saying to follow what my tia said, but it is cheaper. Okay? I looked into it. The Ozempic is $50 to $100 to $3,000 depending on your health insurance. And the Breaking Bad is about $30 in Garside Street in Newark. So I'm just saying, if you want to lose weight and you got some vacation time and about $160, you could lose 100 pounds easy, okay? Easy. Also, for tax purposes, I have to do a certain amount of videos that include the motorcycle so I can prove that I used it as a tool to create the content. That way I can write it off on my taxes next year. So there she is. That's what I used to get here. I needed it. It inspired me. I had a terrible day. The wind under the helmet in my face made it all better. Pose, what are you doing? Pose, look nice. You smell nice.
I smell that?
Yeah, pose. I want to remember the smell. I'm here at the movies with The Rock from 1995. Igualita que The Rock, man. Con el fanny pack. Acá The Rock. Like, igualita, Jali. ¿Por qué tú te vestiste como The Rock hoy? Practicando para Halloween.